When we entered this week, we said, man, this Final Four is special. It really needs to deliver the goods. It delivered in every way, and even in the most shocking of ways, with the shocker of all shockers, the Houston Cougars go from being 14 down with an offense that at times can be limited against the nation's #1 offense, hold Duke to one made field goal in the last 9 minutes of the game, close the game on a 25-8 and 11-1 run. 11-1 run, and they beat Duke 70-67. Matt McCall, Jeff Goodman, Jerome McNeil, John Fanta. Jeff, you just were in the back. We were just in the back with Kelvin Sampson. How did your conversation end?
Well, it ended okay. It didn't start very well when I said, Kelvin, crazy. You know, can you believe it? And he looked at me and he's like, you're not a coach. You've never been a coach. Of course I believe it. And I think part of it was what they did at Kansas. You know? I think part of it was what they did at Kansas.
Has
and
he coached?
Said that was two miracles.
Do you think he would win? You know.
We already discussed this. I would put together a hell of a staff and win. Anyway, at Kansas, they did two miracles. Yes. So I think he's looking at this as, if we can do that at Fog Allen, then this was honestly, I don't want to say nothing, but this, you know, still for me, guys, it's so hard. I've been doing this for so long. I can't remember coming away from a game of this magnitude with this amount of shock. And maybe it's because Cooper Flagg and Duke were on the other side. But I think the other part is, you know, you looked at Houston and the whole game, you felt like they never had a real shot until the end, right? No. They were outplayed the entire game. I heard you saying at the end, Matt, like some of the plays that Duke was running, you're like, man, they're making every right decision. They're spraying the ball, whoever it is. And then all of a sudden the thing kind of flipped a little bit and they had game pressure on them. And I don't know if it was because of the ACC. I don't know if it's because, again, we got to give credit to Houston here and how mentally tough they are. Not just the physical toughness is something we've talked about for a long time, 100%. But the mental toughness to stay engaged in that game, to play as hard as they were, to get back in it and then win it at the end with, you know, Jaywan Roberts making those free throws.
Line drive.
Huge. Oh, my goodness.
Huge. Line drive. Did you think there's any chance those were going in when they left his hands?
Not both. I thought he'd make one of two at that point, and you're right. He line drived them both.
But he's been shooting 150 free throws the last 7 nights.
Every night.
Yeah. Every night. He puts in the work. But think about this, guys. Think about this. L.J. Cryer is the first player with 25 points and 6 made threes in a Final Four game since Bobby Hurley in 1992.
Wow. That's crazy.
Jaywan Roberts is the first with 10 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 stocks of steals and blocks in a Final Four game since Grant Hill in 94, meaning it took some all-time individual performances for them to give themselves a shot in this game. Let me ask you this. I know that we focused a lot on Duke previously. When did your mind start to think, we'll go you, and then you on this. When did your mind start to think Houston could win this game?
I think when I looked up at the scoreboard and I said, I cannot believe this is a 5-point game. I feel like Duke should be up 15 right now. I feel like Duke should be up 20. I cannot believe it's a 5-point game. Jeff just brought up mental toughness, how tough this team is. To overcome the technical foul,
well said.
The whole gym thought it was over. It was over. To overcome the technical foul.
I think JoJo Tugler, he hung his head. He's like, I just screwed up.
Yeah, like I just lost my team the Final Four. He's banging his head. I just lost my team an opportunity to play for a national championship. Kelvin Sampson calls him over. I don't know what he said. I couldn't read his lips.
He said what he said was, I didn't even have to yell at him because I knew how bad he felt and he knew he screwed up.
And they overcame that.
They did.
I mean, that's toughness.
They overcame a Cooper Flagg made 3 with 3 minutes to go in it, and that made it a 9-point game. When did you start to believe in Houston?
I thought it was, and me and John were saying it the whole time, but every single time, and just basketball is a weird game like that with momentum shifts. 15 points, Cryer hits a big shot. 11 points, Jaywan Roberts hits a put back offensive. Like it was just something keeping them around, and eventually at some point down the stretch, they shut Duke's water off, man, and they could not get anything going offensively. And at that point, Houston never played great offensively the whole night, but it was just impressive because they kept with their game plan. I think you said it, their toughness. The word that comes to mind for me right away was just the poise. Like, they played at a really slow pace, and they were down the entire game and never panicked.
We're not. We're
right,
definitely
because
not.
if
We're
you
definitely
knew
not.
if they could put real game pressure on Duke at the end, how would they react? Because they hadn't been in it a lot, number one, and they had freshmen. Cooper Flagg is still a freshman, no matter what we want to say.
Oh, 100%.
Well, you know what it was? Alabama was within 7. But Alabama defensively, Houston is far better than that.
You know
You're
when
going
it
to
was
be.
for me?
Yep.
You know when it was
yeah,
for me?
When was it?
When they called that foul on Cooper Flagg. That's when it was.
Well, that was
Well, that was late.
That's
I
when
don't
I
agree
thought,
with that call.
But when they did that, I was like, you know what? If they're going to make that call on Cooper Flagg, okay, they're not going to steal this game from Houston. I just felt like the officials at some point, whether it's at Cameron, whether it's at the Alamo Dome, they usually get the benefit of the call.
I didn't like that call.
That was the epitome of Houston's culture, though. And we throw around that word. But, Jarrell, how many teams in the country, like I was thinking about this too, how many teams come back against Duke tonight? I say one, and it's the team that they faced.
I think that's the only one, John.
From that deficit, absolutely.
It's the only
I mean,
one.
I think for me it was when Sharp hit the 3. I'm like, uh-oh. Now it's like, uh-oh. Now
3. He hit a
3.
Oh, he got
The
it.
3 like that. Now it's like, uh-oh. Now Duke's in a one-possession game. What's going to happen
Right.
here?
When it got to one possession,
What's
you were
gonna
like,
happen?
Okay, how are they going to tighten up?
Down 6, though, in the half.
40
the
seconds.
balls. Yeah, I mean,
To not foul.
To not foul. And we're going to get a stop. We're okay.
Well, their defense is the best part of what they do.
My God, they did it. They did it, and it led right to that 3 from Sharp. One possession game, and it's just like everybody. We were up there, and all our heads